Hopefully this video lets us dive a little bit deeper into how an event like the history event could be improved, and will let us discuss some more about how events work. I think there are two main problems that the event had. One, the event was too complicated for casual players, and two, it took more time for casual players than they preferred. Let's start with the user interface. There's a lot to look at here, and that means a lot of things to confuse players. If we go first to the tutorial, I would phase in aspects of the UI over time, rather than introducing it all up front. That way players have a little bit more time to understand what each piece of the interface does. I would remove negotiation power entirely, as it is a little bit complicated to understand. I'd replace it with power-ups that give you some health, make the enemy deal self-damage, and one that gives you thrice the loot from the enemy. Sound familiar? Why yes, those are actually from the ability cards, which I would also remove, as they are unneeded. Basically, what I'm doing here is just simplifying the gameplay to make it a lot more straightforward and approachable. Speaking of simplifying things, I would also remove the purple manipulator cards and have only the 3 base factions. Already, we've reduced the number of card types by half, from 6 types to 3. Instead of redrawing past ability cards, you're now more likely to find a helpful card, and the power-ups mean that you won't have to deal with RNG on which cards you'd find in the card shops. Of course, with the ability cards removed, so too would the card shops be gone. The best part, we're still not done. In the spirit of simplifying things and keeping the players from having too much shown to them at the start, I would also lock the medium and hard decks behind progress thresholds. That way you could only play them once you understand the game a bit more, so it won't feel like you're jumping off the deep end. Also, it does just look cool on the grand prize screen. To take on the issue of playtime adding up, we'd start cutting down the enemy deck sizes. We no longer need the card shops, so we can make the easy decks 5 enemy cards and redistribute the rewards and grand prize progress so they're mostly the same. For medium decks, we can raise the difficulty by having 6 enemies, and for hard decks, 7. This way we have fewer cards for the easiest decks, and therefore they are much faster to play. Also, as there are no card shops, maybe one of the enemies could give you a random power-up as a reward, or they could just come entirely from the questline or mini-challenges. All that's left is to rebalance the health and player deck sizes for these difficulties, and we're done. Almost. I know a lot of players were complaining about the daily specials, and I didn't think they were that bad. There were a lot of good options between the epic kit, the fountains, and all those new boosts. But I would probably increase the ticket regen time to 12 hours, and then add more tickets to the grand prizes to compensate. That way you're able to focus more on the daily specials you want. Now I think we're done. What we have as a result is a system that makes the minigame simpler for all players and decks, with fewer card types to choose from. The shorter, easy decks would mean that players who don't want to engage with the strategy part of the minigame could play through decks much faster and still get some decent rewards. However, for those who want more of a challenge, they could choose to tackle longer decks that take a bit more thought but give many more rewards. This way, the hard games would stay more or less the same, providing that high skill ceiling that makes the event fun, but the skill floor is also lowered to allow players the ability to learn and participate in the event without a huge time investment, especially helping if they play across multiple worlds. Lastly, the change of ability cards to power-ups would mean that getting these powerful items would be less dependent on randomness, and one would have a bit more liberty of choosing when to use them. Zooming out a bit, this type of design where options are created for more casual or less strategically inclined players to play, and the skill ceiling is still preserved for skilled players, can be applied to other events. The goal should be to find a way for many types of players to enjoy the event, including both new and inexperienced players, as well as those who want to put a bit more thought into it. But what do you think of my ideas? Let me know in the comments. There's a cool video coming hopefully next week, and I'll see you all next time.